So it's sliding miter. The blade did slide out on some of you. So as you plunge into the blade, into the wood, you can see that I wouldn't clear everything in the blade right there. So I have to slide the blade to the back, and you're clearing the plane of that fence. So you need to plunge fully down and slide all the way back to ensure you get all the way there. A lot of times when people activate the saw, they'll pull it towards them, and then you won't clear that. So just keep in mind you have to slide that forward. So that was just a simple miter cut. When we go on an angle, we have, you can see here, graduations. They go from 0, which we're set on, out to 50 that way, and out to 60 this way. What I do is I'll push that thumb lever here, and I'll swing it. You can see that there's a red key that lines up, so right now I'm at 45 degrees to the left, or 0 or 45 to the right, or anything in between. You can see these little teeth marks here. Those teeth are preset graduations for 0, 15, 22 and a half, 31.6, and 45. Those are the most, by far and away, the most common cuts that carpenters make. So they're preset. You don't have to do any thinking. Just slide over and grab the 45, and it's pre-locked in.
What's 31.6 for?
When you're doing octagons. Okay. So these teeth are aluminum. So if I grab that and ratchet it in, you're going to destroy this within 3 cuts. So you can see exactly how I do it. I'm close to 0, I'll let go, and I'll ease in that hard. Just barely pushing it. Otherwise you'll damage the saw. So you want to be very gentle with that. When you set it, you'll come to where you want, 45 to the left, and it pre-locks in. You can set your angles to anything. Chances are if you're trimming in your box, it's 245s, but we can custom cut anything you want. If it's anything you want, just say 17 degrees. I'm on 17 right now, but there's nothing locking it in. So what I need to do is set it to 17, and then I'll push that nose down, and now it is locked on the 17. Sometimes you'll get to the saw and it will be locked. You have to unlock it and then set it to wherever you want. So I think what we'll do is everybody will cut a 45. I'll set it to my 45, and I'm doing the same thing. Now you can see one problem that's happening is my hand's away from the banjo, but the blade keeps pinching in. That's why these marks are way over here, is because I'm technically out of the banjo, but I'm fairly close to being in harm's way. So I want to just be conscious of where that blade is going and keep my hand out of harm's way. As I'm cutting this, if you have a mark on the front face, that's where it's going to interface, just like I showed you. The problem is if I'm making a picture frame, maybe I'll just cut this for a second. Okay, so I've cut 145 and I'm ready to picture frame in my box. So I go to cut my next one. If I don't cut enough of it, I didn't cut enough of that back angle, so they're not going to interface appropriately. I have to make my mark starting from the back corner or anywhere past that, and advance it all the way forward, and that's my cut mark, but I have to know that it ends out here. Does that make sense? Otherwise I'm not cutting the appropriate amount of lumber. So I'm doing the same thing. Tight to my table, tight to my fence, out of harm's way, I'm not in the banjo, and then I'll line up my mark. I'll come out, and then I'll plunge down, and I'll slowly ease in. The reason I'm coming out and in is you can see you all cut that 2x4 in half, and I cut that 45. I'm cutting that much more meat. The saw is working that much more hard. So I'm easing the saw in from the front face so that it's not working as hard. Does that make sense? So I'll show you. Hand out of harm's way, line up my pencil mark, bring it back up, fully up to speed, then plunge, and then drive forward.